This week on Arizona Illustrated,
it's a place where nature, art, and culture connect.
the act of generosity behind Tohono Chul,
Okay. All lights blinking.
the ups and downs of the BattleBots,
I'll probably still be skating at 80.
catching air for nearly 4 decades, and Oliver North in Tucson from the vault. Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. Most Tucsonans already know Tohono Chul for its 49 acres of lush, beautiful desert, a place where one can stroll along winding paths past soaring saguaros, through the themed botanical gardens teeming with birds. But did you know that if it was not for the generosity and vision of a Tucson couple, Tohono Chul as we know it might never have existed at all?
Tohono Chul is an oasis in an increasingly urbanized environment. It's a place where nature, art, and culture connect. It's a private nonprofit. It's actually the largest piece of private land that's accessible to the public within at least a 12-mile radius.
My folks bought this place when they were looking for a house that was bigger than what we had before because they had adopted another child and needed more rooms. It was all natural desert. You don't have any of the botanical garden aspect at all at the time we were growing up.
Tohono Chul started with a gift. It started with a gift from the heart from two people who understood that having a place for people for generations to come with nature, art, and culture was more important than money.
I don't remember the year, but what is now the Foothills Mall, the person who built that wanted to buy this piece of property to put the Foothills Mall on. And my parents wanted this kept open space, so they said, no, we're not going to sell it. And the developer told them that he would buy my mother a piece of property anywhere she wanted if she would sell this land to him. And she just said, nope. And I'm actually going to turn it into a park. Which she did. I grew up here since the 1960s until I graduated from college. In the end, there were 6 kids, so I imagine it was chaotic. And we kids just played a lot. It was really fun. Of course, the desert surrounded us, so that was nice. We could just go out and be wild. We played a lot in this courtyard, all of us. There's a stairway going up to the roof over on the other side, which we used every day because we flew the flag and needed to put it up and take it down. And there was a little deck on the roof too, where sometimes we would sleep outside. At one point I remember my sister and I setting up jumps and pretending to be horses, running around. This little bench area was like this when I was a kid with these tiles. What used to be my parents' room is now the gift shop. That gift shop actually extends into the 2 bedrooms for my brothers along this side of the house. You know, now I go in and I really feel at home because so much of it is still the way it was when we were growing up.
It's really been fun to be part of the growth of this from the very beginning. But truly one of the most fun things is when we bring people for lunch at the bistro and Susie will be telling a friend, this is my bedroom. Whoever hears that wants to hear more of that story. That's just really delightful. I think when people know that something like this came into effect because of the generosity of specific people, I think that's a great message. It's fun to help tell that story.
I think that that is the ultimate gift, so the rest of us could enjoy what is so unique and special. And that act of generosity, in my humble opinion, generates other acts of generosity. And as you go through the park or preserve, you will see sculptures that have been left for us, things that have been left for us as acts of generosity understanding that the Wilsons gave the original amount to us.
We were brought up to think of that as our money. This was their land, and we wanted it preserved too. We did not want what was our childhood home to be turned into a mall. It would have been really, really depressing. So the kids were totally fine with it. That was not an issue. I was always worried that it wasn't going to be able to get off the ground, because this was quite a while back and it was really pretty remote. Not so much now. You know, there's lots and lots of neighbors. But at the time you're thinking, how do we get people out here to actually come and see it? You know, how do we get it known at the time?
They knew that there was something here that should be shared. And they gave this place to the community, and it's up to us to continue to preserve it.
There are many ways young people are becoming involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. And one of those ways is through robotics, where local teens work together in teams to build their own robot designed to perform an assigned task. We tagged along with one team from the Vail School District. They are the BattleBots.
About that when I went home and I was like, in the sunglasses. Don't worry, guys. I upgraded. I went from a 1-ton bag of M&M to a 2.
Connor Bitch, Corbin, Bryce, Alex Zhao. Awesome. The restrooms are open, so go use them.
Going on.
We will wait, but you need to be back here as soon as you can. Wait, are we on this one?
We left for Vegas early in the morning, where we encountered our 8-hour drive.
I'm actually really okay with this.
My name is Trinity Peters, and I am the team captain of Team 1828, the BattleBots.
Tag me in the group chat. I don't even have my phone.
I was introduced to STEM when I was 7 years old, when I saw this team up in Phoenix. I knew right then and there that I wanted to be a part of this team, and down there working on the robot, driving, and 8, 9, 10 years later, I'm here working with the team and fulfilling my dream.
Guys, stop playing around in there. It's time for the game reveal.
When you get a chance, be sure to support and thank.
Kickoff, which is a giant televised event where they introduce the new task to us.
This is stressful.
It's time to reveal the 2017.
So anxious.
You know, subtle hints, and then they finally give us the game, and our minds are blown.
There are human players in the middle of the field.
And then from that period on begins our 6-week build season. My name is Caitlin Feinzinger. I am on the 1828 Boxers team. I am the vice captain, and I am also the build team lead.
That rope doesn't look sound though. Like, I'm kind of scared of that rope.
We're all very excited to have this problem, have this challenge. We're going to be designing it into CAD, a 3D modeling software. From there, we're going to start building and adding electronics, programming, and hopefully testing the robot before the end of build season.
You could conceivably have 250 hours.
Yes.
So
Our mentors are volunteers, so they come after their work.
That's going to take you to the next level.
And we're very grateful and very thankful to have them there and helping us out, getting parts for us, providing any help.
The ratcheting sound, all you're doing is resetting this.
It's very exciting because they know that they're the ones that get to build this. Our part is done. We've done the training in the preseason. They know how to run the machines, they know how to work the tools, they know how to program. So the next 6 weeks is all them. It's completely their baby at this point. It's their brainchild, it's their decisions, and the robot that they compete with, win or lose, is the one that they determined they wanted.
We do pride ourselves in being able to say that our robot is 100% student built. What are you trying to get the distance to?
It seems to be kind of inconsistent.
It works.
Trinity was voted as captain. I was voted as vice captain. Kara is our secretary, and Matthias is our treasurer.
It's the smallest things.
We get each other.
Oh! Hey, facing me now. Yes!
And with Matthias too, like he's our male leader. He inputs so much that the three of us probably wouldn't be able to think of. So it's nice to be able to have the variety of different ways people think.
I think I can feel it. I think it's this wire right here.
What I really like is that we have a group of students who are mainly comprised of male who are willing to elect female officers.
And they have to be transported, so you can't like...
So they're obviously having this mindset of they're not thinking about the gender, but they're thinking about what they can do for the team.
You really have to have like a bird's eye view of everything, because not only are you focusing on building a robot, but you have to understand the student, listen to them, know what's going on, making sure that everyone is okay.
We can't eat until you eat.
I'm gonna move it.
Throughout my life, I've been like a listener and an observer, like watching everything and listening through everyone's ideas and what's happening. Hey, how's it going? And just making the ultimate decision in the end based on what I've seen and heard.
And when we are at regionals, it's you guys that...
Being in a leadership position in high school now,
It's 15 by 13.
is preparing me to be in those leadership positions when I get the opportunity in the future.
We have until 10 o'clock tonight to have it in a bag.
I mean, I think we just labeled them here, because
Well,
I'm just going
no,
around
because
finding
when you
anything
take that
sharp and-
off, like when you take that one off,
basically
you don't know
filing it
which
to
one
drop
that
it.
one is. Right now we're finishing up our robot, adding the finishing touches with electronics. Clock is ticking. We're working really hard trying to get this done really fast.
Reading is an integer.
On Bag and Tag Day, there's a worldwide time where everyone has to stop working on the robot and bag it and have it in this ginormous bag to be ready for competition.
I love being able to grab that screwdriver and screw in a bolt, and I love being able to make things with my hands. I love seeing the outcome, because at the beginning of a build season, you don't have anything. There's just this empty box that is going to have a robot in it, and then by the end of the year, you have this working robot that you built with your hands, and anything we make from our hands is just special.
22.
Would it help to enable?
See that clock behind me? That's our countdown. It says we have about 6 hours because the clock is set to Eastern time, where they have until midnight. For us, we only have until 10 o'clock.
Don't you love just doing this?
All right.
We just finished all of build and electronics are now complete. Now the programmers take over and we'll start seeing this robot run with code, moving through all of its different functions. Okay?
Can we turn it on?
Do it. Go for it.
No smoke yet. Great.
All lights blinking.
Radio on.
Okay.
Rubber radio.
Let's turn off the robot and let's move it down to the floor.
Can we just move it while it's on, please?
Yep.
Right here?
Yep. This year we decided to name our robot Merquit. It is Elvish for mercy, so we went through a process of coming up with different names and then narrowing it down to one name. There we go, there we go. I'm really scared. Oh, I love that sound. I personally enjoy how it's exactly 2 feet tall. We have measured it.
You're sending off your baby to do what it needs to do, and you're really praying that it's gonna work. You're sitting there hoping that everything goes right and that nothing bumps into her. You're hoping that she thrives and that she's able to do what she needs to do.
It can climb by itself, but we like to be safe, and our electronics board is on the back, so we just want to make sure. So that is 50 points. That is at the end of the match. We have 30 seconds to climb that rope. Unfortunately, something is up with our pickup mechanism and does not want to pick up the balls. It is picking up the balls, but it's not doing it very well. Things happen.
And in the event that something does happen, you get that like panic. And during matches, it's completely intense, especially right after coming back from a fall or something breaking. You're standing there and you're praying that everything will work.
I want to go get a Coke then?
Well, will it sit nicely with this scoop down here?
Try clicking outside of it.
We have 2 servos on our robot, one to move a camera and one to move a stopper. One of them did not seem to be working, so right now we're testing to see if it was actually the servo that was not working. Touch any metal. And we now found that it's the servo that's not working, so now we have to replace that servo probably at competition. It's definitely a setback for us. We'd have to go to competition with something not working, and we won't be able to practice with it. It's hard to not get frustrated, hard not to get stressed, but I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, so we just continue. We should probably weigh the gear bucket.
It was bittersweet. It was bitter because You know, there's still things that we need to figure out, which means you have to do them right before competition, a day before you start your qualification matches. But it was sweet to see how far the team had come. We started with nothing, and now we have like a functioning robot.
Oh no.
Done deal.
Beep, beep. We did finish our robot on bag and tag day, which is typically not what we want to do. We want to give us 2 weeks to maybe practice and program our robot. And we definitely felt the aftermath of that. Each of our matches presented a new challenge for us to fix and overcome.
My catchphrase this year was, "Let's keep the faith," because there were times where we were just thinking, how can we come back from this?
The chain came off of our drivetrain, so we weren't able to move. Our rope broke, so our robot fell and took a couple of bent parts. We weren't able to move our robot again because of a burnt motor.
Everything went wrong.
A lot of us were upset and confused and like, what do we do? Do we recover? Can we recover? We were not picked for an alliance to further compete in quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. We were ranked 41 out of the 50 teams that were there. I was so proud that they kept a positive attitude throughout the whole experience. Even after we weren't picked, they were still positive and cheering and talking to other teams.
So while there was some disappointment and sadness, we were able to learn that what we did wrong can help us in the future.
Looking back on everything, what was the hardest part for you?
It's tough to have a great team and have them encounter all these problems, and like we did our best, and I definitely think that, and it's hard, but I hope they consider that what we did was great and keep that positive outlook that we can do better in the future, and this is a learning experience. I just don't want them to think that their hard work has gone to waste.
Our team is a big family. We really just become really close.
Who make me laugh every time I go there. Our build season, I was so happy because we got to meet with them every day, and they would play music, they would dance, they would sing, and they just entertained me so much.
Now turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor.
Neighbor.
Oh, neighbor.
Oh, neighbor. Every day I come to this, I'm living the dream. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do.
You're not only developing skills and knowledge that you need for the future, but you're also making memories that will never go away. I will never forget robotics. It's been the greatest 2 years of my life, and I'm gonna miss it.
As you get older, there's a tendency to become less active. Most of us slow down a bit, take it easy, and take a few less risks, right? Not Warren Stevens. He's just getting started.
In '74, we went to Oahu for vacation, and walking down the main drag of Honolulu, every morning I'd see these guys with long blonde hair coming through the crowd, and there seems like they're gliding, you know, and then they pass by and they had a little piece of wood on their feet with roller skate wheels. And I thought it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. The following summer in '75, skateboards came to Kmart, and all the kids in the neighborhood, boom, we all had them, and the craze began. I hooked up with a crew here in Tucson who were kind of like the local heavies, the pool skaters. The post office on 6th Avenue, right next door, there's a hotel that has a sign that has swimming pool. Yeah, we skated that pool for years. That hotel was vacant, and that was the pool. I need the fear in my life. I always want to be like right on the edge of almost dying. I'm almost exclusively vert. This is where I'm at home. The big stuff. It's like any sport you do, once you have something on lock and you have it in your back pocket, you can always go to that. I have my list of what I want to do in my run, and you just start pulling them off. I can take a shot. I've paid my dues in here, big time. It's part of the sport. Nope. We wore pads 100% of the time in the 80s. Skating vert is very demanding, and you can't always call when you're gonna land on your feet. I had a good one in here. I fractured my pelvis in here, and that one hurt. That took a couple months off. A friend just gave me a blank back in, I think it was about 2006, and said, hey, see if you can make skateboard. And I ended up making this skateboard right here. Ended up getting a logo and getting a name. We're called Concrete Warriors. And this is where we are in 2016. I love shaping boards and giving back to a sport that I love, and who knows, one day we might get on the map. I've known Tony for over 20 years. When you go skate at a new park, you skate at a ramp, there's always professionals rolling up from time to time, and they'll let you know if you got game. So people know me. A little over a year ago, I was at Tony's warehouse. We did a trick called an Andrect. It's a hand plant. So we did it together simultaneously. Looking back, thinking he's bigger in life, and next thing you know, standing up on the deck with him and going toe to toe. And that was a huge moment for me. When I was in my 20s was in the late 80s, and you had your top pros, but no one else was making money, so it wasn't even, you couldn't even think of yourself as being a professional. We always just did it for fun. And I still do it for fun. There's no paycheck in it. It's the greatest workout.
We joke about him being a vampire. Like, he has pictures that'll show us of the 80s when he was skating pools and stuff here in Tucson. He looks the same. It's really inspiring for me because there's people in their 20s that are like, oh, I can't do this, I'm old.
I'm still a crazy old man. I am 50. But it's just a number. I love getting air. That's pretty much sums it up. I'll probably still be skating at 80 because my dad's 80 and he's still fit as a fiddle. I just feel so thankful that at my age I can still play like I did when I was 14. It's the same, like it was from the first day I stepped on my skateboard.
To some, he is simply a person who broke the law and lied to Congress. To others, He's an American hero who did what needed to be done. I'm speaking of Oliver North, and back in 1988, he came to Tucson, as we see in this story from the vault.
Gray skies and cool temperatures did not keep away about 100 protesters who lined the Oracle Highway near the Sheraton El Conquistador. Former Marine Corps Colonel Oliver North would be speaking there later. The protesters' signs called North's actions while a member of the National Security Council unconscionable, illegal, and dishonorable.
He lied, he shredded documents, he created a shadow government, he dealt with some of the worst drug dealers in this hemisphere.
Colonel North's detractors were far outnumbered by his supporters.
He is the most truest patriot I ever have seen.
Organizers of this morning's gathering hoped to have 600 in attendance, but fell short. Proceeds were for the North Defense Fund, which could, some say, cost up to $7 million.
Would you please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North?
North told supporters that America faces great peril in maintaining its hemispheric security, that Cuba and Nicaragua loom as constant threats.
But our future, that is our children, are deeply jeopardized by two great evils that affect this nation. The threat of drugs being brought into this country to poison our children, and the threat of a godless and alien philosophy that for the first time in history has a toehold on the mainland of this hemisphere, communism.
North, while a member of the NSC, is generally credited with major roles in both the Grenada invasion and the Libyan raid. Friends of Oliver North paid $20 each to listen to a pep talk this morning.
I think what this man is telling all of us we should take to heart.
I thought the man's a hero. I wish we had more like him.
He's just what we need in America. Somebody who stand up and protect our land.
North left Tucson immediately following his speech. He will spend the next 24 hours in California raising money for his defense fund.
Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. Next week, we honor and remember the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. An Arizona Illustrated Memorial Day special. I'm Tom McNamara. See you next week.